Good evening, everybody. Sorry, just a little bit behind, just like a minute or so. Was setting something up and lost track of my time there for a minute. I hope you all had a great weekend. I was kind of feeling like getting to a normal schedule around here. The kids have been in school for a couple weeks. We kind of have a feeling for how it is, so settling in pretty nicely. So I'm going to start tonight showing you what set I'm going to be using again. I believe I've already used this at least once in what we've done. I'm going to be using Peaceful Deer, which is, hi ladies, how are you tonight? Kathy, Mary Lynn, good to see you. I'm going to be starting with Peaceful Deer, which is on page 26 of the mini catalog. Comes in a bundle with the Deer Builder Punch, and that's part of what I'm using tonight, along with one of the phrases. Don't be afraid of this one as very Christmassy. If you are a fan of the North Woods, or even, I guess it doesn't have to be the North Woods anymore, does it? The deer seem to be all around us these days. But anyone who likes nature, the trees themselves are really kind of cute. I like the solid pine trees there, so that's always a fun option. And then, of course, there's a matching set of DSP in Celebration, so if you spend place a $50 order, you can get this paper for free. There's some really cute patterns in there, and the punch actually is the same size as this deer that you see here, so you can punch him directly out of the DSP if you want to. So that's kind of a fun trick. I like that they've been coordinating some of their DSPs with their punches and dies, so it makes it really fun. Yay, Mary, I'm glad you like your deer. I know that you had that on your list right away. All right, so just a heads up, hopefully you saw the note. Again, well, of course, if you read my latest newsletter, you read a little bit about some things that have been going on with me, and I swear I feel so scatterbrained lately, that I had a measurement wrong, but I don't think it should affect what you're doing. So don't worry if you don't have it cut exactly like this, what you have will still definitely work. All right, so you're gonna have a piece of cardstock that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Mine tonight's gonna be real red. And then you want another piece of cardstock, that same color, that is 2 3/4 by 11. And you should have a score mark at 4 1/4. And you should have another score mark at 8 1/2. So you have something that's kind of this shape like that, okay? And then another cardstock color, 4 by 5 1/4. Mine's gonna be basic black. You want 2 pieces of DSP, and they can either be the same or coordinating. That is totally up to you. 1 3/4 by 3 3/4. So don't worry if you cut it to 4. You can always cut off that extra 1/4 inch. Won't be a big deal. Mine comes from that Peaceful Deer DSP that I was just talking about. And what I like about this particular piece is that it's pretty much the same pattern on the other side, but without the snowflakes. So they do coordinate really nicely, but I love that little pop of white on there. I think that's really cute. And then you want a piece of white or neutral color cardstock, depending on how your DSP is set up. That's 2 1/2 by 4. Okay, and I will show you what to do with all of that in a little bit. And then you want some kind of focal image. So a collection of stamped and punched or die cut, shape, whatever it is, along with, you know, a little phrase or images, whatever you want to do for your front focal point. And it should be about 2 1/4 in what, circle, square, whatever you want to call that. It should come a surface space of about 2 1/4 inches both ways. And then you want a punch that's no larger than about 2 inches wide. We're only going to be using a portion of it. It won't matter what shape it is, so it could be a square, a circle. I'm going to be using the Label Me Fancy. So this width right here is less than 2 inches. So that's what I'm going to be using on mine. Okay, and like I said, tonight we're going to be doing a gift card holder. All my samples have the gift card holder option on them. I'm just going to say right now, if you don't want to turn this into a gift card holder and you like the measurements, just don't add this piece. So make it 8 1/2 inches wide and then just score it 4 1/4. So you don't need that extra little bit. Okay, so here we go. Let's start by creating your focal image if you haven't already. I have most of mine done. I punched a deer from the Deer Builder Punch. So I used crumb cake for the body and early espresso for the antlers. And as you can see, it also punches out a little nose. So I did a very tiny little bit of real red, used my my take a pick tool, there we go, to help me lift that up and get it on there with a little bit of glue. So that's my deer, and I did add a tiny little eyeball with my black marker, just a little dot to give it a little bit of eyeball look there. Alrighty, so he's going to be mostly what is in my focal point image, but I am going to There we go. Taking my Real Red ink and my phrase, which says, sending love and peace this season. Hi, Carol. Good to see you tonight. I am going to stamp that on a piece of scrap paper that I have. And then we will punch that out. Like I said, I'm using the Label Me Fancy punch. And whoopsie. Got caught in my other pieces. All right, going to slide that in till it's about centered. Let's see if I look up. Yeah, that's pretty good. Maybe down a little bit. All right, there we go. Now, as you can see, it also has a little hole and a little slot, because what you can do is you can take this shape and put it back in and do a little hole punch or a little slot punch in those areas, and then you can weave ribbon through or slide it onto another piece of cardstock or something like that. Or you can use it just as is, and then you have a nice little exclamation point of spare cardstock when you're all done, because it's hard to get just that little punch out of there when they have more than one shape on them. All right, so that is pretty much my focal point. So hopefully you got yours ready as well. All right, let's start assembly. Before we put this part together, I want you to do the scores at 4 1/4, burnish them up a little bit, and 8 1/2. And then on this little end that's left over, that's where we're gonna use our punch. Now again, I'm gonna go back to my Label Me Fancy. And you want it to be centered left to right. And you only want to use maybe about a 1/2 inch showing. Okay, and so again, I'm gonna go, hi Mom, nice to see you on there tonight. And I think I saw Carol go by. If I haven't already said hi to you, I think I saw your name pop up there. All right, so you have a little notch, and that is gonna help your gift card slide in and out, okay? So let's do our layering here. So you're gonna take your 4 by 5 1/4 piece and layer it onto your 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece with your adhesive. Now, speaking of adhesives, I didn't give you any particular special adhesive to use on the gift card holder portion. If you find that it's not working out with just your regular like Stampin' Seal or mono adhesive or whatever you're using, I would recommend upgrading to something that holds a little bit better. So you could use our tear and tape, or you could use Stampin' Seal Plus, or you can use a little bit of glue, and I'll show you all those, are the tear and tape option when I'm assembling mine, and you can see how quick and easy that works. Okay, so your 2 pieces of DSP are gonna go at the top and at the bottom of your 4 by 5 1/4 piece, and that is your base layer. Now this is the part that's gonna be the gift card holder. So your piece of neutral is gonna go in this section here, so the far right section. If you wanted a message or whatever on it, stamp it first if you want, or you can always write on it later. Oop, got stuck up there. There we go. And it was stuck to my finger too. All right, so this piece here will get centered right in there. Okay, now you're gonna grab some adhesive, and like I said, this is gonna be the part, it's gonna fold back into this way, and this is where your gift card is gonna get stuck into. But you wanna be mindful that you don't wanna put too much adhesive this way, because if you have a really wide adhesive, your card's not gonna fit. I've discovered our tear and tape is perfectly wide enough if you put it directly to the edge, like so. And you can just lay that down. It's a double-sided adhesive, and it, as it says, tear and tape, it tears really easily. If you have used that red liner tape, as we used to call it in the past, and how sticky that was, and you had to cut through it, and then those red pieces were all over the place, like, you definitely want to get a hold of this stuff. This is so much easier to work with. So there's an example. You could also use a little line of liquid glue, and this of course is our Tombow multi-purpose, or what we like to call green glue, because it's got green covers. And you're just going to do a really thin line over here. And there again, if you've got adhesive like our Stampin' Seal, that should be just about as wide as your tear and tape. So just make sure you are getting directly to the edge, so you're not having too much space in between there. All right, I'm going to peel the side of tear and tape off. So like I said, it showed you a couple options. And when you fold this over, just make sure your edges line up. And of course, because I used glue on that one side, it's going to ooze out just a little bit, but that'll be fine. It'll come off later. All right, so do a little burnishing where you've got those, and I will use my adhesive eraser on that later because it's got a little sticky. Okay, and I meant to have a little card with me so I could show you how nicely that fits in there. So we're just going to pretend that this piece of paper is my gift card. Okay, and it's going to slide in just like that. Okay, so that's where your gift card gets tucked and pulled out. Now you're going to want to put a decent amount of adhesive on the back of the part that is holding the neutral piece, because that's going to attach onto our base. And where did my arrow? There we go. There's my seal. So I'm going to do, normally I just do around like the edges. I'm actually going to do like about 4 of them down because I want to make sure this holds really, really well. All right, you're going to take that. I like to set mine sideways when I'm doing this. It just visually works better for me. So you're going to want it to be centered, so you're covering those pieces. It's going to go all the way to the edge of the red, or I should say your base piece, and it should be all the way to the other side of your base piece as well. I know, Kathy, isn't this a great, like, gift card holders are one of those things where it's like, you know, so many people ask for them and want them, and they're so easy to get and send and do, and this at least dresses it up a little bit, makes you feel like you're actually giving a thing as opposed to just a little plastic card. All right, so there you go. That is just the portion that's going to open and close and hold your gift card. You can feel free to keep decorating this up as you like. Add more to this part, add some other color, other papers, whatever, just don't block that part where the gift card slides in. And then same thing to the front. I'm just going to do a really simple thing with my label and my deer. Because I might end up sending this through the mail, I'm not going to do a whole lot of raising up or bulking up. Otherwise, you know me, I love my dimensionals, and I would probably use several throughout this process. All right, so I think my label is going to go right about here. Okay, and I am going to pop up my deer just because he needs a little lift. Alrighty, we'll do a big one there and a big one on his booty. And we'll put a little one up here by his head. Okay, so whatever you've done for your focal piece, that's going to go wherever you want it to go on that front flap. Okay, so I'm going to make it look like my deer is, there we go, that was kind of the look I was going for. Okay, so there we go. Sending love and peace, and there's my deer. And then, like I said, you're going to slide your gift card holder right through that. Okay, so first I will show you guys some more samples, I should say. First, I'm going to show you where I got the idea from. I do a monthly swap with several other fellow demonstrators. There's 12 of us in the group, so we each make 12 of something and then send it off to one of our group members who then collects them all, sorts them all back out, and sends you back the other 12 that were made. So you send in 12 of the same thing and you get back 12 different things, which is really, really fun. She did one for Halloween, and that's using the DSP from the Halloween set in the mini catalog that has a matching stamp set that you can see fits that. There's a punch that punches out the cats and the pumpkins, and there's also like a skeleton head, which isn't, you can't see on this paper. So that same punch would also punch out from the DSP. Again, I love when they coordinate like that. She added these cute little candy corns and the big gingham ribbon and did a little backdrop of label on her punch there with the punch. And then of course you have your Have a Fabulous Halloween. And there you can see that's where her gift card holder note was to see. Yes, I could have used hers, couldn't I? Like I said, dress this up a little bit if you want. Like I said, more stamps, more bling, more whatever you want to put in there. So that was where I got the inspiration for that one from. Now, as far as stepping stuff up, I didn't do a whole lot different, but I will show you the difference between these two. This one stepped up just a little bit in what I used for the decoration. So I did flip the DSP this time, so you can see that the snowflakes are only in one space, and that was nice of that because it's the same piece of DSP. I could just use the same piece. So I added the snowflakes kind of like Brenda did with the candy corn. So there's little red snowflakes around the edges here. I used our red ruched ribbon just behind my label this time, and I did the same thing she did. I punched out another one in black, and then what you do, I don't know if you can see it this way, maybe, you cut it in half vertically. Oh, maybe that works. Vertically, and then you can spread it out a little bit. So you won't see extra at the top or bottom, you just see that little extra color at the left or right, or if you cut it this way, you would see top and bottom of extra. So it gives you just a little pop, shows it off a little bit. And then, like I said, you can punch out the DSP with the deer punch. So this is punched directly out of the DSP with that really neat buffalo check. And I used some of our wonderful gems. So these come in either red or kind of an iridescent-y goldy glitter. And there's 3 of those little red ones scattered throughout. the front of that card. Oh, and I do have the spool of ribbon here. It's really, really cute. It's got those little it's the ruched, and it's, oh my gosh, it's so, so cute. And I like that it's a skinnier ribbon. It does tie really nicely, so you can make really cute bows out of it. Like I said, with that little bit of ruching, it's just really fun. Gives it a little bit of life and pop. So let me see, look at how cute that is. Oops, let me go down here. Look at how cute that is. Okay, so those are all in the mini catalog. The ribbon is on page 9, and the gems are on page 62. All right, we'll get these out of the way. Then I went to another set from the mini catalog, which is the Penguin Place. And I am in love with these penguins. Oh my gosh. And again, just like with the deer, this paper is only available during celebration. So you only have to the end of September to get your hands on some. And believe me, I am trying to get as many packets as I can because it is so flipping cute. Okay, so what I did here, I took, so you see this DSP in the background where it's got these really cute little images, and if you notice, there's a little critter on a sled. So on my scrap piece that was left over, I had part of that. I hadn't managed to save the whole sled, and then I punched out a penguin from another piece of paper where they're matched again, and then I stamped and cut out the little scarf and hat, and put him like he's riding the sled. Isn't that cute? And there again, there's I used the larger of the double ovals, the one with a little bit of a scallop, to do my punch for my gift card. And I added those little trees, and then the phrase says, be cool, be chill, be merry. Love, love, love this penguin paper. And this is soft sea foam, which is not a color I would normally go to for Christmas, but they've used a lot of these really pretty pastel colors, and it just works so nicely. So love, love, love penguins. All right, then, of course, we have other occasions we would want to give a gift card for. This one I made for a birthday, and I had a color challenge put out this week from someone to use Coastal Cabana, Basic Gray, and Daffodil Delight. So that is what I did here. And what I did is I took the Watercolor Shapes stamp set, which is on page 102, and I created this pattern with those 3 colors of various shapes that are in that set. So I stamped a big piece and then cut it up to use just like I would have used DSP. Okay? And then the happy birthday, of course, comes from Biggest Wish, which is on page 63 of the annual catalog. And I stamped that in the basic gray and just cut out the phrases happy and birthday. Okay? And then I used a little bit more of that imagery on the inside there. Okay. And last but not least, I did one for a wedding. And this is using the Blackberry Beauty Designer Series paper, which is in the mini catalog on page 45, and the gold attachment, or the gold foil accent on some of these is just stunning. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So then this is, of course, Blackberry Bliss cardstock. I actually stamped the phrase in Versamark and used heat and stick powder, and then I used the gilded leafing, that really fine gold Alpine set. Oh no, I don't know that I did have that one, Kathy, but that's a good one to note. I'll keep that in the back of my head because the sled is cute, cute, cute on that. Okay, I used the gilded leafing on it instead of an embossing, so it's a little bit different color of a gold, and it's a little flatter than embossing might be, but it was a fun technique to work with. And then I wanted to show you one trick. There's a piece of gold back here. There's a little set of paper that you might miss in the annual catalog because honestly, it's like stuck in a little corner and it's easy to miss. It's on page 135. You get 6x6 sheets of this really pretty gold and rose gold paper. And it's really thin, so it's easy to punch and die cut and all that kind of stuff. And I used it as a layer behind there. Now, one trick I want to talk to you guys about, when you're using a big piece of cardstock like that, or designer series paper, something that you're going to end up covering up a lot of, go ahead and use what you can't see for another occasion. So for example, before I laid down this piece of gold, I punched out 2 of those shapes and I punched out a deer. So they're all underneath this part here that you can't see, and that way I got something to use for another time. Now what I think is interesting about this gold paper is there's like a grain to it. So you can see this kind of goes grained vertically, and then the deer fit the other way, so he's kind of grained horizontally, if that makes sense. But this is really, like I said, this is super thin, so super easy to punch and die cut, and the sparkle is amazing. Oh my gosh, I think I want to do an entire class just on those papers because they're so, 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 so pretty. Then I added brushed metallic dots, which are in the mini catalog, page 55. And this is Elegantly Said and the Elegant Tag Punch, which are on as a bundle on page 69. So then I stamped the inside a little bit. There's that beautiful foil on that paper. All right, so let me lay these back out again. Just to review, if you have a favorite, don't feel free to chime in and tell me what you like. And like I said, think of all the occasions that you might want to do a gift card for. So obviously Christmases and birthdays are really obvious, the good ones. That's why I brought in the wedding card, because sometimes we do that for weddings. Any kind of little, treat note. You could tuck money in there, of course. Doesn't have to be a gift card, but any kind of little flat treat thing that you want to give away could fit in there. So I thought this was a really fun layout, easy to duplicate. And like I said, if you ever want to use this layout, but without the gift card option, just cut it at 8.5 inches instead, and you won't have that little piece that's left over, and it would just open and close just like a normal card would right there. All right, speaking of classes, I was able to get one ready this weekend. I haven't posted the details yet, but they will be coming later tonight, and I want to show you what I have made for you guys. So there is the Pretty Pumpkins bundle. Let me find that really quick in here because I forgot to mark it before I came in. Pretty Pumpkins, Pretty Pumpkins. Where are you, Pretty Pumpkins? There we go, 48. Okay, so page 48 of the mini has these pumpkins on it. There we go. Here's the stamp set. These three come together and they have a matching die, as does this pumpkin here and these leaf and vines. There's a beautiful gather together front one, and I liked it. If friends were pumpkins, I'd pick you. Really, really sweet. It comes in a bundle with the dies, and again, they match or coordinate with the entire set. So what I've done is I wanted to focus on the metallic paper, which again is also easy to miss in this catalog here. It's on, if you want to see it back here on page 75, but I also go to the basic page too. So you get, there's 3 shades of metallic. There's copper, gold, and bronze. And they do the same thing with these adhesive dots, gold, copper, and bronze. So that was my focus for the class. So we are gonna make a card with the gold, one with the copper, and one with the bronze. And then we're gonna do one that uses both. Or all 3, both. Okay, so you are gonna get enough to make the 4 cards. You are going to get some of the gold, the metallic paper. You're gonna end up with 2 pieces that are 6x6 of each one of those that you can then use on your own. And you're gonna get a selection of the dots. And you're gonna get that and those 4 cards for $15. So hopefully that is something that you would like to be interested in. I will get that posted and up for RSVPing, hopefully by the end of tonight. While I'm watching football, which hopefully will be much more fun to watch than it was yesterday, as my Packers did not do very well yesterday, as some of you may know. But I'm hoping that that will all change next week. FYI, I will be at the Packer game next Monday night. So what I'm planning to do is to record one of these earlier and have it post at 6:30 on Monday. So if you are here anyway, Monday at 6:30, there will already be a link to YouTube for you to come and check out. And otherwise, just catch that as you can, because I will hopefully be cheering on to victory this week, the Packers. So that's it for tonight. I know I went a little bit over, but I had a lot to talk about, so hopefully you stuck with me. And again, if there's anything you have questions about, pop them into the post when you're done. Send me a message, whatever you like. And I hope to see all of you. Well, I won't see you next Monday, but I hope to have you guys watch next Monday and then share, of course, what you've created with your gift card holders tonight. All right, thanks, everybody. Have a great evening.